What's up, everybody? Welcome back to part 7 of 10 of Cash Flow for Capsuleers. Um, we'll just get right into it. After Wolf escaped your attack, he retaliated by commandeering a Federation Navy ship, manning it with his own crew and starting a campaign of terror in the Constellation. I want you to head out there and kill them all. Okay. This begs the question of who the terror is here, but we'll continue. Moreover, I can provide you with a small armor repairer 1 if you're willing to take this on. It should help you against any damage thrown your way by Wolf and his allies' ships. So they're going to give us one for accepting the mission, which is nice. We're going up against Serpentis, so we'll keep the thermal protection. It would be nice if we also had a kinetic protection. But granted, it would also be nice if we had something that we could harden our armor with instead of doubling up on our shields here, but we won't get too bent out of shape on that. So I will replenish my ammo and put 400 units in there. Although I guess maybe I should have 6, but regardless. So when I accept it, I'll take that small armor repairer and replace this civilian armor repairer.
There's already something in that location.
Although there's a notion or a concept that's worth looking into. So let me hit accept and just show you. We've got 4 hours, which is more than enough time. So if I take this small armor repairer 1 and drop it there, I can have 2 armor repairers going at the same time. And that's what's known as double repping. Now, that gives me 16 hit points per second recovery. And it also makes it so that I'm not cap stable. So if I just have the 1, I get 13.5. Adding the second one, see, now take a note here. This offers 15 hit points per 6 seconds. This one, which is just the normal version, offers 69 hit points per 5.1 seconds. So we're getting a much better return on this than on this. So if we really wanted to double rep this, which would be really overkill, but let's look into it. Let's actually look into doing this intelligently. So we know that thermal and kinetic armor or damage is what we're going to be up against. So if we come in here and let's see, where is it? It's under ship equipment, hull and armor hardeners. We'll just look here. So alright, that's armor kinetic hardener versus limited armor kinetic hardener 1. Now those are a little expensive for my taste, so I won't go and get it, but that requires an omega clone. Okay, thankfully that does not. But if we look here, since we're simulating this, let's get rid of that and that. We could take one of these, and it would increase our kinetic resistance by 50%. So we can just drag and drop here. See how that went from 35 to 68%? And then we would do something like that for thermal, which is down here. And we would just drop one of those on there. Now, without them, our effective defensive hit points are 1,835. Now, this doesn't take into consideration the damage mix that we're going up against. Some of the more advanced fitting tools online, like Osmium, osmium.org, I think. Anyway, like that one, if you... Here, I'll turn that one off as well. So 1784. If... when you put these on here, you can tell it what type of faction you're going up against. So you can tell Osmium that you're going up against Serpentis, and it will tell you what your damage resistances are, basically based on that damage input. Here and in this system, I think it's just a spread. They're giving you an omni set of damage, so you're going to be getting an equal amount of EM, thermal, kinetic, and explosive damage coming in at you at any given point in time. So it's not terribly accurate, but it gives us an idea. So 1784 goes to 1869 and 1981. So this isn't telling the right story, but the nice thing here is that with these going, here, let's see, we'll take those off. Now that's armor hardeners. If we look at energized plating, which is a passive thing, so those were active, much like this. I would have to activate it and keep it going the whole time. Now, for armor, you can get energized plating, which it offers a smaller protection. Instead of 50%, it's 30%. But along with that, we'll just go with limited because that's what we're doing, and that's kinetic. And we'll pull the armor one out as well. And now it doesn't use up our... Well, I don't think it should anyway. Man, that thing uses a lot of capacitor. Anyway, you can see that we're up there pretty high with that as well. Now, because this is a starter mission, we don't need to worry about this. And I didn't actually pull anything off my ship, but I'll just drop that on there. I'm gonna pull this off because I don't need it. Might throw one of these on there to make me fly faster. It reduces my cargo by 15%, but it makes me go 10% faster, which is nice. So I'll just drop that on there as well because it's always nice to go faster. And I think we're good to go. So we're gonna undock. We'll close these and not worry about those for now. And we'll just we'll go from there. We're warping to our location.
Active.
And we're off there. All right, let's see here. Turn up the volume. Well, it's already up a bit. Destroy the pirates at the convoy ambush site. If you get low on hit points, simply warp out and regenerate, then warp back. All right. So we're going to approach them. We're going to hit that. And again, remember that armor repairers do their reparation at the end of the cycle. Shield boosters get their boost or their repair at the beginning of the cycle. So it's good to know that. So if you're not relying on this thing repairing your armor immediately, you got to give it a few seconds in order to do that. All right, so we got a number of ships in here. Oh, I'll hit that and get that going so that I'm at least what shields I have are protected. And again, like last time, I'm missing quite a bit because I'm traveling so fast. If I wanted to hit harder and faster, I would make sure that I would slow down a bit and get into it. But as it is right now, I'm doing okay. I haven't really taken any damage, and part of that is because of the fact that I'm moving so fast. I mean, this 1,200 meters per second is really very quick. So as a result, I'm really hard to hit, and as such, I'm taking like no damage right now. I'm just moving too fast. Now what that is referred to is because I'm moving so quickly. This is known as speed tanking because it's really hard to hit me with me flying this fast. So there's armor tanking, there's shield tanking, there's even hull tanking, which is not advisable. And then there's speed tanking. Now, the speed tanking, there isn't a lot that you can... there aren't a whole lot of... Oh, now I've slowed down and I'm going to start taking a bit more damage here. I'm going to point myself, get myself out of here. And take that guy out. Or that gal out, as the case may be. Come down here and orbit this one. Yeah, I'm missing quite a bit. I'm far enough away. I guess I should change targets to something closer. Because if we remember, your optimal is 3,300, and the fall-off range is 7,000. And here I'm back in this asteroid again, bouncing off of this thing. So it may behoove me to just move myself out and away a little bit and pull them out with me. So I'm just changing targets to things that are a little closer. I'm going to turn this off. And my shields are slowly ticking down as we go through this. So they don't regenerate too terribly fast. You can see that they're trying, but I'm taking a lot of damage here. And you notice that when I turned off my afterburner, that I started taking a significantly higher amount of damage here. So I'm going to keep that going. And I'm just kind of fly back and forth here. I'm using the keypad button just to give myself something to fly at and to, you know, bounce around with. And keeping moving will help me prevent taking very much damage. So I'll use that with them. Got to get around this asteroid. So when you're in a larger ship, like I'm bouncing off of this thing and I'm back at it like there's nothing wrong. But in a big ship, it takes you a very long time to turn and align. And if you get yourself stuck in a situation where you're sort of bouncing off of an object, you can get lit up pretty bad if you're not careful in larger ships, because you just can't maneuver fast enough to get yourself out of danger. And enemies, especially players, will take advantage of that. And that's one of the things that they do to keep somebody trapped in a large freighter or a ship, is they'll bump into them to keep them from aligning to where they're trying to warp out of. And in doing so, they'll just lock them there. And because as a freighter in large ships, you just don't have any speed or maneuverability, they don't have to warp lock you, they don't have to, or warp scramble you, they don't have to web you, because you're not going anywhere anyway. So it's a dangerous world. That's all I'm saying. And we're set here, so so I did pretty well. We did pretty well. Didn't get through more than half of our shields, so this item helped. I'm going to turn off the booster here. I'm just going to sit relatively close to most of the ship's wrecks here, because there's no reason to. Alright, why don't we stop there? Stop. I'm trying to keep everything within 5,000 meters, because that way I can just one by one harvest them. It's always nice to see contaminated Lorentz get pulled in, because that stuff's worth quite a bit. We don't have anything targeted that has loot, which we can tell by this little skull icon. Or at least it looks like a skull to me. It looks like just a square. Okay, well, it's just a square and a small V, but it looks like a skull. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So since we've got a low moment, I'm going to reload my ammo. I personally don't like letting my ammo ever run completely out, just because I don't know why, but I feel like it takes more time to run it, to load it from empty. Not that like the cycle time takes longer, but that when you run out, it goes through one more cycle to fire another one, and then it decides that it's out, and then it goes through the cycle of reloading. So it almost feels like twice. Now, those of you who are paying attention probably have already determined that every time you fire your gun, for the most part, as long as you didn't kill the thing, it's going to have to, cycle around one full time before going to fire the next one anyway. So if you cancel it, it'll go all the way around, and then it'll stop, and then it'll load, so you're doing it the same way anyway. But I can't explain my neuroses. They don't make sense to everybody, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. So, c'est la vie. And as you can see, our shields are coming back relatively slowly. Also, I personally, I make it a habit to always shut off the components that I'm not using when there's no enemies around, because it takes a while for your capacitor to recharge, and there's no reason not to use that time to gather it back. So that's one of your limited resources, really, is the capacitor. If you're lucky enough to be able to, or to be skilled enough to fly a ship that's cap stable, that's great, and you don't have to worry about it very much. But you still may have to worry about it if there are ships that are using neutralizers or energy Nosferatus. I don't know exactly, Nosferatu. Anyway, there are modules in the game that you can mount on your ship that do one of two things. Some of them just drain your capacitor straight, and those do a lot more. They pull out a lot more energy out of your capacitor than the alternative, which is you pull out of their capacitor to put into your own capacitor. Now, you don't get a whole lot out of it, and you're not doing a whole lot to them, but you're definitely going to stem the tide? No, you're going to, the tide is going to move in your favor if they are unable to maintain their stable capacitor build. So something to be aware of. So even if you're stable, even if you're cap stable, you're probably going to want to make sure that you max out your capacitor whenever possible, because you never know when someone shows up and is going to try to drain you. That said, if you're doing missions and you're in PvE, if you use eve-survival.org, and you look up the mission that you have before you head out on it, you will be able to look up and see that you'll be able to see whether there are any ships in there that are going to be draining your capacitor. So at least you can go in and be aware of what you're going to face. All right, so we're all done here. Looks like we got quite a bit of good loot, which is this contaminated Lorenz, and that's 700,000 ISK worth. In total, we picked up 737,000 ISK. We got the blue check. We're going to dock up and call it a day.
Active.
So that's pretty much it for cash flow for Capsuleers. The mission expected us to take armor damage and to have to use our armor repairer. So by adding this overdrive injector and by running my afterburner and trying to stay away from the asteroid or that station or whatever it was, I was able to effectively mitigate and diminish the amount of damage that I had coming into me.
Permission requested.
Enough so that I didn't even get through my shield, or half of my shield.
Docking request
So
accepted.
it's good to understand just the basics of the mechanics, because you can make the game and sort of your life in it much easier and more stress-free. So I think that's it for this one. We'll complete. We got another 300,000 out of it. I would guess that we will pretty quickly see. Yeah, we got some bounty prizes right when we. Well, no, that was the last mission. We're gonna get a tick for bounty prizes here shortly, but that's pretty much it. So that's it for 7 of 10 for cash flow for Capsuleers. This is the military career agent, and I'm Abe. This is Vinsis Gaming, and check out the website that that a couple friends and I just started up called Errant Gamer. It's ERRANTGAMER.com, and it's just kind of gaming reviews, some lifestyle and op-ed pieces on the gaming industry, videos from EVE Online. One of my friends, Laurel, does videos of a little bit more indie-oriented games, and I'm going to be changing gears a bit to explore other games as well. So check those out. Check out the links in the description, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.